Have you ever watched someone lose everything they built on the back of your work? My older brother, Corbin, had been taking credit for what I made since we were kids. In high school, I rewired and restored an old motorcycle from the frame up, and Corbin told everyone he'd walked me through it. Whenever I corrected the record, people told me I was jealous, that I should be grateful he looked out for me. It followed us into our family's watch repair shop. Our grandfather had taught me his techniques when I was 12, the delicate work of movements, escapements, the hand tools he'd made himself, while Corbin was always too busy to sit at the bench. I still had grandfather's loops and tweezers, willed to me before he died. But when clients came in for pieces I'd spent weeks restoring, Corbin would explain the work like it was his. See how the balance wheel sits true? Takes years to master. He'd walk clients past my bench. This is my little brother. Good hands. I guide his work. They'd be impressed, never realizing he was reading off the notes taped above my station. Dad started believing I needed Corbin's oversight to make anything worthwhile. Corbin understands the business, he'd say. You've got talent, but you need his structure. Last month, I went into Dad's office for supplies and overheard them. Corbin was scrolling through photos of my latest restoration. This is what we've been working on, he said. But mostly I've been steering it. You know how he drifts without direction. Dad nodded along. That's why the shop needs you running it. Your brother's skilled, but he doesn't have the vision. Then Corbin. Once you sign the shop over next week, I'll keep him on. He needs the work, and I could use the extra hands. Maybe in a few years he'll be ready for more. Dad agreed instantly. The boy needs structure. You'll give it to him. What turned my stomach was Corbin's voice when he thought I couldn't hear, not hiding his delight at all. He knew I was the one who understood grandfather's methods, who could read the old repair logs, who knew which parts to source. None of it mattered, because he'd convinced Dad I was just a pair of hands. The day Dad announced Corbin would inherit the shop, I packed grandfather's tools and notebooks, left a half-finished restoration on the bench, and set my resignation letter beside it. Corbin found it and laughed. You'll be back in a week. Where else are you gonna go? As I kept walking out, he shifted from calling me dramatic to shouting about abandoning the family. We'll work something out, he said, voice climbing toward desperate. A raise. Partners even. I took a job at a repair counter across town the next day. Corbin called 15 times that week. Dad called me ungrateful, but I was done being Corbin's uncredited hands, even as he accepted 3 new commissions on the strength of a reputation I'd built. The first was a family heirloom pocket watch, due 3 weeks out. Corbin called me 20-some times that day. I didn't pick up once. He'd tried to follow grandfather's logs, but couldn't read the shorthand notation grandfather had taught only me. He returned the watch worse than it came in, the client furious. The second commission came back with a movement he'd damaged and couldn't fix. The third client posted photos of a butchered restoration on every review site in town. Within 2 months, 3 generations of reputation were in ruins. Dad came out of retirement to try to save it, and finally saw the truth for himself, that Corbin couldn't so much as clean a movement properly, or decipher a single page of grandfather's logs. Dad called me that night, his voice breaking. I should have listened to you. All those years you were the real craftsman. I was blind to it in my own shop. The shop that had been in our family 60 years closed 4 months after Corbin took it over. He called last week asking if I'd come back as a full partner. When I said no, he tried to guilt me about the legacy, the building being sold, all of it. Here's the part I'm actually proud of. I didn't gloat, and I didn't go back to rescue him from a mess he'd made stealing from me. Instead, I used grandfather's tools and notebooks, the ones I'd carried out that day, to open my own small bench, under my own name. Clients who remembered the real quality found me within weeks. The heirloom watch client became a regular. My cousin recently started learning the trade, and mentioned Corbin had offered to mentor him, claiming 60 years of family expertise. I invited my cousin to my bench instead, sat him down, and opened grandfather's notebooks. The legacy didn't die when the shop closed. It just finally moved to the person who'd carried it the whole time.